I mean, in life, no. I'm just more.
Okay.
Sometimes.
All right, so 1 through 6 here. I'm gonna go over Roman numerals later, so I'm not gonna do that right now. So out of those 5, I'll go over 2 of them. Is there anyone in particular you want me to go over? I'll pick 2 anyway. But no one wants me to go over any specific.
I'm gonna go over 8 and 9.
Okay. So I'm assuming you got it right then, or you understand why you got it wrong.
When it says the little like parentheses and little lines, what's that mean?
Parentheses and lines.
Yeah.
Roman numerals.
Number
Those
2.
are the Roman
Yeah.
numerals.
Oh, like number 2?
Yeah.
I'm gonna teach that after we go over the homework.
Okay.
That means like a plus 3 or minus 3 on it.
Yeah. I
It
have
means
no
the
idea
ion, yeah.
what that
So let me go over, I don't know, let's go over lithium phosphate and aluminum chloride. So I'll go over those 2 a little bit more in detail.
Are you just able to look at them and know what their thing is?
Yeah, that's what I just did. I don't have the answers on the sheet, I just came up with it. I mean, I've been teaching for a long time. I know all those, almost all the charges I've memorized. So then I can just do the math quick. Plus, when you teach as long as I have in the same content, I see the same compounds over and over and over. So it's not even memorized, it's just, that's what it is.
natural.
So, it's not really like that impressive. I do it all the time. So, anyways, here we go. AlCl3, Li3PO4. Why do I need 3 Cls? What's the charge on Al? Plus 3. Cl is
1.
minus 1. So if I want to make that neutral, I need 3 Cls to balance out the Al, so that's why it's AlCl3. But I told Luke after school, there's a rule called the crisscross rule. What that means is you take this charge and that charge, imagine you can grab them and drag them down. So you literally make an X, or a crisscross I call it. So this 3 goes here, 3. This 1 goes here. And then when I erase all that and rewrite it, it's Al1. We don't write 1s. You can, but we just don't. Cl3. That works every single time. If you take the charge opposite and bring it down for the subscript,
Yeah,
Yeah, why
no, I don't show it first.
Why?
Because that's not good teaching. That would just show you what?
The answer?
The answer.
How to do it?
That's not important. What's important?
How to do it, why?
That you understand.
The-
So,
I don't know.
if you can look at this, Al plus 3, Cl minus 1, and you can understand you need 3 of those to cancel that out to 0, then I've done my job, you've done your job. If you look at the charges and just tell me the formula is AlCl3 because of the crisscross rule, you haven't learned anything. So that's why I don't teach it first.
Well, I just looked at that.
I
So,
feel like it would be wrong anyway, so I'd probably just check my answer.
the end of the game here, end result, moral of the story is I want you to understand it, but I also want you to be able to get the formula correct. So, if the crisscross rule helps you get the formula correct, you're good on a multiple choice question. If they ever ask to explain it, why are ionic compounds neutral, or why is there 3 Cls instead of 1? If there's a short answer, the crisscross rule isn't going to cut it. You can't say because of the crisscross rule, that won't work. So that's why I teach both, so that you can figure it out and use the crisscross. So if you guys like it and it helps, great. But just make sure you understand it too. So now lithium phosphate. Let me just clear this here. Li is plus 1. Now, anything on table E, we're going to put in parentheses. I said that yesterday. We're going to keep doing that today. Phosphate is minus 3. On the reference tables, or on table E, is this what it looks like? You guys got to pay attention. Eyes up here. Even if you get this, don't zone out on me, because I'm teaching new stuff here as we go. Is that exactly what it looks like? Okay, be careful with that. That is not just the oxygen. I really wish they would use parentheses on table E, but they don't. 3 minus is the same as minus 3. This is how I write it. Some teachers write it this way, some teachers write it, doesn't matter. So 3 minus and minus 3 are the same thing. Luke had a question when he came in here. He said, what about the dash? So, for example, I'm trying to think of one. Oh, NO3. NO3 minus. That's the same thing as NO3 minus 1. They just don't put the 1. So a minus sign is a 1. And if you have NH4 with a plus, that means plus 1. And again, it's all of those atoms NO3 is -1. NH4 is +1. Not just the H, not just the O. Am I being clear with that? Alright, so back to lithium phosphate. Why do we need 3 lithiums? Why is it Li3? Brian, how come it's Li3PO4, not just LiPO4? Give me the real reason. That doesn't work.
Because it takes 3 Li to
Cancel out the -3. If I have 3 positive 1s, that adds up to a +3 and it cancels the -3 to 0. All compounds must be electrically neutral. That's the real reason. But the crisscross rule works. 1 here, 3 there, Li3PO4. Alright, moving on. That was the first 6. Alright, 7 and 8. Magnesium iodide, MgI2. Beryllium nitrate is BeNO3 parentheses, bless you, 2.
Thank you. Oh,
That's beryllium nitrate, BeNO3 parentheses 2. Calcium phosphate, Ca3PO4 2. And copper 2 bromide is CuBr2. I'll go over all. Actually, I'm not going to go over MgI2. That should be fairly easy at this point. I'll go over those 3. Alright, so beryllium nitrate, Be is +2. NO3, remember we put in parentheses on table E, is -1. So I need 2 -1s to balance out a +2. Or, crisscross rule helps as well. You have 1 Be, 2 goes outside the parentheses. Because NO3 is like a team, a unit. It's all together. So that 2 is 2 NO3s. So that's why you need the parentheses. So that's why it's BeNO3 2. Questions on that one? No questions. Keep doing that. No questions. All right. So Ca3PO4 2. We got Ca +2, PO4 -3. What's the next number they have in common? 6. You can do the crisscross rule. This 2 is going to be here, so that's 2. And that 3 here is 3, so that's Ca3PO4 2. But again, the real reason is I need 3 of these, that's +6. And I need 2 of these, that's -6. 2 -3s, that's -6. 3 +2s, +6, that adds up to 0. And that's why it's Ca3PO4 2. The biggest mistake, kids forget parentheses, so they start adding, and they say PO8 or PO6 or whatever. And that you can't do that. It has to stay together. PO4 is that unit or team, stays together. Can't change. All right, and then this one I'm going to explain later. That's the Roman numeral, so I'll get to that later. Questions on that sheet?
no.
Take our notes. All right, I'm going to give you, in our notes here, some formulas. I want you to use your brain and your homework and a neighbor, and I want you to write the name of it. I'm going to give you the formula, you write the name. Here I gave you the names, you wrote the formula. I want you to do the other way around. So I'm going to give you 3 formulas. Use your reference tables, periodic table and table E, the brains, and neighbors. Come up with these 3 names. Here we go. First one, Na2O. Second one, MgSO4. And then the third one will go RB2CO3. Write those in your notes, and I want the name of those 3 formulas. After we go over this a little bit, I will get into the Roman numerals. Oh, I graded that atomic structure test.
Can we have that?
Yeah, some of us definitely need to see me to go over it. I'll just put that out there right now. Some did well. So when I call your name, you come up and get that. 10 minutes ago?
10 minutes.
Ish. The first one, Na2O, is the easier one out of the three. So, I was hoping you would use your homework maybe to help a little.
Well, sorry about that one.
You've heard me name compounds, you've heard me say things, you've seen names. So I'm hoping at some point you've picked up enough to at least give this a shot. I haven't taught it yet, per se. Is it an answer of sorts? Or just a comment? Question, go ahead.
So, if CO3, instead of just being one, if it was two, could you put bi in front of it?
A good die, right?
The prefixes, bi, mono, tri, di, stuff like that. It's not really di, but it's basically for just covalent or molecular names. So like carbon monoxide is different than carbon dioxide, but ionic, we don't do that. It's just, the formula changes, but the name is what it is. So CO3, for example, is carbonate. So if you have two of them or one of them, it's still carbonate. I don't hear a lot of discussing. I said you can talk to your neighbors.
Do you have any plans for winter break?
He didn't know the funny person.
Oh, that's you talking to your neighbors?
Yeah, you're like right over here now. Look at, you're in my eye.
Yep. And they're reading on the card.
Do I have any plans? Yeah, I do.
Yeah. Would you like to speak on it?
We have practice every day.
Are you kidding?
No, we don't.
Yeah, we do. We have scrimmage Tuesday.
Wait, why do you have scrimmage? What?
We have sectionals.
Why is
The new season begins
It's like, I don't really do
tonight after we win. The new season begins.
What if you lose?
Knock on wood.
It's not happening.
Why?
It's not about this.
And why do you have Star starting?
Why do you have a
Unless you
scrimmage now and not in
He said it himself, all he does is run.
One more time.
One more time, just for sure.
We did. We had like 3 in the meeting too.
Yeah, but aren't scrimmages usually on in the beginning of the season?
Yeah, we used to scrimmage.
We have an entire week off from playing games, and then we have sections. So it's not a good idea to not play.
Well, maybe he just kind of stops.
Well, we scrimmage Mahomes.
All right. From what I saw, you guys did. Whoever answered it seemed to do a good job. Whoever didn't answer is obviously confused, and that's all right. Here's the deal. The metal is always written first. In case you haven't noticed, ionic compounds are metal, so you always write from the left to the right. So metals first, then non-metals. Another way to explain that is lower electronegativity, higher electronegativity. Anyone remember what that means? Electronegativity?
It's
Attraction.
Yeah, attraction for electrons, right. All right, so anyways, this is sodium, this is magnesium, this is rubidium. You already know half the name. This is called sodium something, magnesium something, rubidium something. So in ionics, it's actually pretty easy. The name of a compound starts with the metal. So you already know half the name every time you see a compound. You just have to look up the metal name if you don't know it. So sodium, magnesium, rubidium. So that's easy. This is oxygen. Well, we don't say sodium oxygen, we say sodium oxide. Some of you are saying, how am I supposed to know that? Well, this is going to take practice, but when you have a compound with only 2 elements, it always ends in I. Always. So 2 elements, it ends in I. So if this was a Cl, it'd be chloride. If it was a fluoride, it would be fluoride. If it was an F, it would be fluoride. If it's I, it's iodide. If it's P, it's phosphide. So if it's 2 elements, it ends with I. That's something I hope you pick up with practice. You can't really write notes on that. That doesn't really help. You just have to practice. All right, this is magnesium. Now, some of you might look over there in your reference tables, periodic tables, say, well, I see sulfur, so maybe it's magnesium sulfide or magnesium sulfur. But what about the oxygen? Well, some of you might say, well, it might be magnesium sulfur oxide.
No.
You're close, but that's not it. The reason is because this is on table E. How are you supposed to know? Practice, experience. The more you see it, the more it'll register. So this is magnesium sulfate. SO4 is called sulfate. Same thing down here. CO3, you might say carbon oxide. You're close, but CO3 is special. It's on table E, polyatomic ion. So this is rubidium
Carbonate.
carbonate. So I'm not going to sit here and beat this to death and give you a million examples. I have sheets for that. Because there's no reason to spend all this class time. I can give you the same practice. You don't need to be here to do it. I'll go over it. So, I will do one more with you, maybe two more here quick. Then I want to teach Roman numerals. And I am gonna give you a sheet. I know you don't want to hear that, but sorry. I'm gonna give you something new, and it's gonna be more of this stuff. All right. Here we go. Another one. CaF2 and. Should I get tricky?
Yeah, do it. Make it interesting.
It's all interesting.
Make it worth our while.
That is not
We do not lie here, Mr.
true. Yeah.
Li. And L2, and then I'll give you the tricky one here. Wait,
Wait, and so I have a question for the first one. Would that be like the stuff that, I don't know, that's just fluoride?
there we go.
Never mind.
Alright, so we'll do these three, and then I'll introduce the,
NH4.
that's NH4OH. Want me to fix it?
No, you're good.
NH4OH.
You are pain in my So, when's Cable coming back?
Yeah, I know. It's alright.
Maybe she has interviews or wants to didn't have to do all of it.
Yeah, what?
That'd be smart.
That lied.
She did do one.
Yeah, but she doesn't have to do it over break.
Oh, I can take a sheet.
I'd rather do it experience. It's only one sheet.
But like still.
Yeah, but what if
Let's just do this. Are we done with this?
Not yet.
I'm pretty close. I'm on the home stretch.
Stop yapping and get it done.
Okay, I'm done.
Paul.
In that one right there, N needs 3 to be stable, right? And if H needs just 1 to be stable. So why doesn't it be NH3 and be covalent? And then you just have water on the other side.
Because that's not the formula.
No, but why doesn't it do that?
What's the first charge for hydrogen?
It's neutral until it loses.
No, the charge, yeah, the 8 plus 1, right? So that's why.
Alright.
But it doesn't have to lose an electron if it can just go to the oxygen.
We're gonna move on, there's too much involved with that question. It is what it is for now, sorry, Paul. CaF2, who's got it?
Calcium
Calcium
chloride.
fluoride, good job. Calcium fluoride, good. LiNO2, who's got it? Lithium, nite, what?
Right.
ITE, nitrite. NO3 is ite, NO3 is 8. Luckily you have table E. A long time ago, kids had reference tables that didn't give them the names, they didn't memorize them all.
That's weird.
Go.
Where's she?
On mine,
Honey yum yum hydroxide.
Very good. That's not exactly how you say it, but Ryan got the tough one. Ammonium hydroxide. Paul, when you dissolve ammonia in water, this is what you get. Ammonia is NH3. So when it reacts with water, it forms these ions. And then they come together. So I'll explain down the road.
That's
So
cool.
ammonium hydroxide. Good job, Ryan. Okay, welcome
Hey,
back,
I
Caleb.
got it too. I want a good job.
Good job, Chloe. He answered it though, so I was just going back to the student who answered it. Good job. I didn't hear you say it.
She copied me. She cheated.
I did
Alright.
not copy.
From across the room, yeah.
Okay.
I looked off the light.
Roman numerals. Write this in your notes. Roman numerals for ionic compounds. Here's what you need to understand. M, Roman numeral 2, means M plus 2. M, Roman numeral 3, means M plus 3. M, Roman numeral 4, means
Plus 4.
M plus 4.
Whoa.
M, Roman numeral 5,
Oh, we're still going?
Yeah, slow down.
yields M plus 5. I'll stop and let you catch up. What's M?
Mom.
No, not mom.
Your mom.
Not your mom either.
Momentum, I'm guessing.
Roman numerals in, alright. Roman numerals, ionic bonds. What's M?
Ionic bond.
Mol.
An
Yeah,
element.
what Paul said mol.
What Paul said.
Yeah.
It's not right.
What does an ionic bond have in it?
Molecules.
Electrons.
Memory, matter.
Mass. Mass.
Metals.
Metal. M
Okay.
stands for metal.
Got 'em.
Are you sure this isn't mom?
M stands for metal. The reason I'm using an M is because there's a lot of metals up there with a lot of different charges. What you need to learn here in the next couple minutes, and we'll obviously have to pick up with this after break, if you have a compound with a Roman numeral in that compound, that Roman numeral is attached to a certain metal. It could be iron, it could be strontium, it could be silver, whatever, random elements, metals. That Roman numeral tells you what charge the metal has. So if it's Roman numeral 2, it's plus 2. If it's Roman numeral 3, it's plus 3. If it's Roman numeral 4, it's plus 4. 5 is 5, 6 is 6, 7 is 7. Whatever it is. Okay? So how is this useful? I'm going to leave that up.
So does that only work for metals?
Just metals. So if I give you the compound iron 2 chloride, write this down underneath those. If I give you the compound iron 2 chloride, that's how we say it. We don't say iron Roman numeral 2, we say iron 2. Iron 2 chloride, now you know what charge is on the iron because I just told you how to figure it out. You look up the charge on Cl just like we've been doing, and then you put it together to get the formula. So, I'll do this one with you. If this iron 2 means Fe is plus 2, and we look up Cl, and it's minus 1, raise your hand and tell me what is the formula.
FeCl2.
Very good. So, iron 2 chloride is FeCl2. Good, I'm glad you think so. I think it's easy too. Write this down. Iron 3 chloride. So we just did iron 2 chloride, now let's do iron 3. Because iron can be a 2 or a 3, it just depends. Depends on the compound. So iron 3 chloride is Fe plus 3. Again, Cl is always minus 1. So over here on the whiteboard, it's plus 2, so it's FeCl2. So over here, FeCl3.
Whoa. That was fun.
We're going to do one more. Hopefully I can
Just
squeeze
because
it in.
Chloe's having so much going on.
I am actually. This is actually.
Go to
pretty
your
fun.
periodic table for me. Look at the box for iron, number 26. Number 26. Look at the top right corner. What two charges do you see?
Plus 2.
Plus 2, plus 3. You'll never have a Roman numeral that isn't a 2 or a 3 for iron. It doesn't exist. Look at chromium. Is it 2, 3, 6?
Yep.
So you could have a 6 for chromium, okay, but not for iron. Here's another example. Let's do copper 2 oxide, and then we'll stop with this. Copper 2 oxide.
See you later, alligator.
Part of this you are not going to do, so you're gonna have to, let me explain it.
Appreciate it.
I think there's one extra there, but they may need one.
I think you said that before. We have an extra one.
I'm gonna say.
I'll just put it back there. Somewhere back there. Alright, look up here. What's this mean?
No.
Cu is +2. What's oxygen? -2. Here's where the crisscross rule will fail you. It's not 2 and 2.
It's one of
It's just 1 and 1.
Yeah.
I only need one of each. It already adds up to 0. I don't need subscripts.
I don't really use the cross rules,
That's where that's not a good idea. Okay?
So it's like now.
Alright, last thing, and then we are done. The bell's gonna ring. This right here, draw a dot structure business, don't do that.
That whole
Don't
thing?
cross it off, we're going to do it. But I haven't taught it yet. So don't do that. Do the front and then this side over here. Okay? It's really not that much to do.
I thought
You got
about that.
a whole week.
Yeah, until I forget. 'Cause I don't
Yeah.
know.
I'm gonna schedule a reminder right now, at least to remind you a couple days before.
I was gonna say.
He's gonna remind you about
Probably. He's
He's
like.
Yeah, I was gonna give it to
I'm
Ramon.
watching
That's
it.
fine. You-
How do you give it to a mom?
Okay.
Give it to him.
He's like, I know you're better than that.
Yeah. Do it. Doing it.
Alright, have a good break. Don't do anything stupid. Fulton Montgomery College tonight, 8 o'clock. See you there.
Not happening.
Sorry, thank out.
Extra credit.
Wait, actually, I can I bring my baby down here to babysit.
You're going,
Sure.
aren't you?
Honestly, I should get
Pray
extra
that I
credit
don't
going.
die in my
Why?
Zeke and
Are
Quinn,
you actually going? Oh.
I'm trying to pull that because I gave it to their class too, but we'll see.
Wait, I
Matt?
can
It's discrimination if you
Really?
don't give it to
Yeah.
us. Just because we play basketball, we don't get the same rights as them. It's-
Yes, anyone who comes gets
What?
extra credit.
Wait,
Okay,
I went to
next-
senior night.
What?
Yeah, you were supposed to. Yeah, you were
Yeah, I
supposed
might.
to. Wait, whoa! I was
I
a
know
senior
you
night.
did.
Hey,
You never
What?
get.
supposed to get extra credit
yeah.
she went
Wait,
to senior
if
anyway.
we get to extra
Oh,
credit,
shit.
I want extra
Game.
credit for that. Don't I miss like you guys game.
Talk to me after break. I'm gonna
I
forget
cheer
now.
the team on.
You never get a test back.
Oh, jeez. You want?
No, I know it sucks. I don't want
Okay.
to. I'll just.
It's actually probably better because I want to go over some of it in class and it might get lost in the mix over break. So probably better off.
Did you keep it?
I'm gonna keep it.
Okay.
I'll hand it back after break. And the grades are in the book anyway.
Go.